Thank you so much, sir. Please stay with us. Now, for more breaking news, social media posts and some unverified outlets are claiming that Iran's interim supreme leader, Ayatollah Alireza Arafi, was killed in an airstrike just hours after his appointment following the death of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Iran, on March 1st, 2026, confirmed that its longtime Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei was killed in a joint airstrike by the United States and Israel, marking one of the most dramatic escalations in Middle East tensions in decades. In the immediate wake of Khamenei's death, Iran's leadership activated constitutional succession mechanisms, setting up an interim leadership council that included President Masoud Pezeshkian, the judiciary chief, and senior cleric Arafi to steer the country during this turbulent transition. The reports about Arafi's death come mainly from viral posts and partial reports on social platforms and some news sites, but have not been independently verified by credible global outlets or official sources. Now, joining us for this is Ambassador Mahesh Sachdev, former diplomat, joining us from New Delhi. Sir, what do you make of this news exactly, please?
It's not been confirmed, as you said. So one would like to be put as a speculative or as a claim by the antagonists, US and Israel. But if it was to be subsequently verified and found to be correct, then it will be a further setback to the succession plans, even interim succession plans, as one of the three members of that council to govern Iran in the interim course would have be eliminated. I believe that Iranian structure is resilient enough to be able to promote a new member of that tripartite council. But the questions would remain as to how open this council would be in the light of frequent assassinations, apparently based on fairly good intelligence, either electronic or personnel. So Iran would have to be perhaps more secretive about the council and other senior successors to those who have been eliminated.
Thank you so much, sir. Please stay with us. Now, for more breaking news, French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot has said that France is ready to defend Gulf countries and Jordan against Iran if necessary. Barrot has added that the allied countries that have been deliberately targeted by the missiles and drones of the Revolutionary Guards and dragged into a war as they did not choose Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Iraq, Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, and Jordan, for which France expresses its full support and complete solidarity, and it stands ready to take part in their defense. France, Germany, and the United Kingdom have said that they were ready to defend their interests and those of their allies in the Gulf if needed. More breaking news now. Saudi Arabia's RAS Tanura refinery has temporarily halted some operations after a drone attack caused a fire at the facility. The Saudi Energy Ministry confirmed that the shutdown of certain units was a precautionary measure, ensuring no disruption to petroleum supply to local markets. Authorities reported that the fire was sparked by debris from two intercepted drones with no casualties. The RAS Tanura refinery, located near Dammam, is one of the world's largest oil export hubs. Now, joining us again is Peter Baum, the editor of the Weekly Blitz, joining us from London. Sir, we've already seen this morning that oil prices have further escalated. To what extent do you see the oil prices skyrocketing in this instance with the news that I've just shared?
Yeah, I've been looking at the oil futures market today, Roshan, and they are on an upward trajectory. Clearly, the Iranians took a view. Strategically, I think it will end up haunting them, but they've undoubtedly taken a view that the war can be brought to a halt if the economies of the Western world are damaged, and of course spiralling oil prices will have a huge effect on inflation, and I think that's why they've taken the view to bomb the more moderate Gulf states such as Abu Dhabi, Bahrain, Kuwait, and even Oman and Qatar, I gather, who are very friendly towards Iran. Now, they've never been. There's always been an animosity between Saudi and Iran, so it was no surprise that Iranian oil facilities would be damaged. But I think the Iranians, nevertheless, have taken a view to damage the oil output abilities of the Gulf states, which will have the effect of damaging economically the Western economies, and that's the reason they've taken it. What they didn't bank on was the fact that it has now brought in Germany, France and the UK into the conflict, all three nations saying they will do their utmost to defend their interests. So I think this strategic move by the Iranians to damage the oil infrastructures of the oil-producing nations will come back to haunt them should the regime stay in power, which I think on balance is unlikely.
Thank you so much, sir. That was Peter Baum, the editor of the Weekly Blitz, joining us from London. Now, for more breaking news, China has called for diplomatic talks to end the ongoing conflict in the Middle East, now entering its third day. The Chinese Foreign Ministry has urged all parties to halt military actions to avoid further escalation. China's Foreign Ministry spokeswoman confirmed that one Chinese citizen was killed in Tehran during the attacks, and more than 3,000 Chinese citizens were evacuated from surrounding regions. Mao also stated that China was not informed in advance of U.S. military actions against Iran, adding that it condemns the attacks and the killing of Supreme Leader Khamenei. China reiterated that it supports the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Gulf states and backs efforts to enhance regional communication. Listen in.
截至北京时间3月2日，已经有3000余名中国公民自伊朗撤离。
Question for another agency: Did China have any contacts with U.S. side during or just before this military operation? Thank you.
我可以告诉你的是，中方没有提前得到通报关于美国的军事行动。中国和俄罗斯已经推动联合国安理会举行了一次紧急会议，讨论了当前的局势。我们支持联合国安理会继续发挥作用。我们也希望有关各方能够立即停止军事行动，避免局势。
And now for more breaking news from Iran. According to reports, at least 3 members of Iran's Revolutionary Guards and 5 army personnel have been killed in strikes linked to the ongoing military confrontation following the U.S. and Israeli attacks that killed Iran's supreme leader and other key figures. The casualties underscore the intensifying nature of the conflict, which has seen major combat operations and retaliatory attacks across the Middle East. And now for more top stories, Prime Minister Narendra